Today we have the case of Coe v. Coe, mother versus daughter. Ms. Coe, you say you're here today because your daughter is an out-of-control teenager and she needs help. Furthermore, you claim that you have serious doubts that your daughter's boyfriend, Mr. Boyce, is the father of your 7-month-old grandson. You say Mr. Boyce has been a good father to the baby, but that your daughter has numerous sexual partners, and so he needs to know the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
You have also petitioned the court to demand that your daughter attend parenting classes. Now, Ms. Coe, you dispute your mother's claims. You say you are positive that Mr. Boyce is your baby's father and say today's results of the paternity test will prove your mother wrong. You have asked the court to order your mother to stop meddling in your life once and for all. Now, Ms. Coe, please tell the court why you're here today.
I'm here because my daughter is out of control. She has an issue with authority. She doesn't want to be told what to do, how to do, or why to do it.
Give me specific instances.
Okay. From fights at school, hitting a police officer, not once, but twice. She
Hitting a police officer?
She punched a police officer twice. Twice. I get the phone call to go up to the school. I get there. I was thankful that I knew this police officer. He looks at me and he says, "This is your daughter?" He says, "I could take her to jail right now. She could have a felony."
Wow.
The officer got in the way.
In your petition to the court, you stated something about damage to your home. Please tell me that.
She made a phone call saying that I and my girlfriend had jumped on her because she still did not want to follow house rules. All I asked her to do was not disrespect the house. Don't bring the drama to the house.
I feel like that's not the truth. That's not the truth.
You brought drama to the house.
That's not the truth.
You made a phone call saying, my mother and her girlfriend just jumped on me. You come mess them up.
I said her girlfriend just jumped on me, and I did have somebody come over there.
She made that phone call. Them guys, they loaded up. They came to my house. They bust out every window. They busted out my car. They destroyed my house. This was 1 week before I was
That's your car?
That's my car. They broke out every window. That's my house. That's me standing on the porch trying to take a picture because now I'm upset and I'm like, you know what? I cannot believe my daughter is gonna allow this to happen.
And I couldn't believe your girlfriend jumped on me and I was pregnant. So
she didn't jump on you.
car.
They didn't jump. They broke out windows, car. They hit me with a brick. I got hit in the back of the head.
What?
And I also stopped them. I didn't think they was gonna do that to the house. I didn't say mess the house up. They took that into their own hands.
Zaire, I'm so disturbed by what I'm hearing right now. When it comes to baby Christian, Mr. Boyce, you are not the father.
Yes, you are. You're his father.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
I'm still his father.
You okay? I know this was not the way probably any of you wanted this to turn out, because I can see it in all of your faces.
Can I just,
Jerome, can you give him a tissue, Hug him? Absolutely.
Can I please? It's okay, Larry. It's
Absolutely.
okay. We lost everybody, but we all lost. It's okay. I am so sorry, but it's okay.
Ms. Richardson, you say you were in an exclusive relationship with Mr. Smith and even tried to have a baby together. But after you conceived your daughter, Kalani, Mr. Smith started denying your baby. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You intend to prove he is the father today. Mr. Smith, while you admit to having a relationship with Ms. Richardson, you say you were not in town during the window of conception and claim to know who the father is. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Richardson, you say Mr. Smith begged you to have a baby with him?
Yes, Your Honor. Around the time we were together for about 8 months, he had told me he was in a situation where he didn't know if he were going to live a long time, so he had said he wanted a child with me. Me being young and dumb, and I was actually in love with him, I agreed on it. Around October 31st, we were together. I had left Job Corps, which he was still in. I left on the 28th. On the 31st, I had sent for him to come in town for the weekend, so, we can go home on weekends. That day we did have sex, and that's whenever my daughter was conceived. I called him immediately and let him know that I was pregnant. From there on, we start going to appointments together.
So wait a minute. You say he begged you to have the baby.
Yes, he wanted to leave a piece of himself behind, he said.
And Mr. Smith, you wanted to leave a piece of yourself behind. Where did you think you were going? What was happening in your mind?
I wasn't really thinking. Well, she was like,
No.
she have baby fever.
No.
And I was
That's
like,
not at all. I did not have
wow.
baby fever. I was only 19 years
She was talking
old.
to me the whole time on the bus saying, oh, she got baby fever.
That was actually him.
And I basically was like, well, if we both agree we want to have a baby, we can have a baby, Like we could, start trying to have one.
For what?
I don't know. Just the thought of it, I guess. I don't.
He actually wanted to have a child. Once we didn't conceive in June and July, I told him that we weren't financially stable and I wanted to wait until we're further in our relationship.
How long were you all together at this point?
We were together for 8 months when he first started, but I've known him for a good bit of years.
Ms. Richardson, I can't let you go any further unless I just have a moment with you.
Okay.
Baby, you cannot have babies by everybody you feel like you fall in love with. I can see, we about 3 minutes in, and I can see that you decided you had fallen in love with him, and from there on, everything you heard come out his mouth, everything you saw was through the lens of love that you had created. Because he stood right here, and the second thing out of his mouth was, I really wasn't trying to be with her that long, but if we wanted to have a baby and she wanted to do it, okay. Everything is so nonchalant. I'd like to know, what is your relationship exactly with Ms. Richardson?
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I would die for Brianna, and I'll take my last breath for that little girl up on the screen right there, and that's my goddaughter. And it's just because I've built that relationship with him that quick. We've told each other things that I have told nobody else. We've been through things that I have told nobody else. We've been through some bad times, even in just the 8. Like, people are focused on the 8 months that we've known each other.
Oh, God, this is so exhausting.
So
you
it's
all
like-
are all just kids.
Exactly.
And everything is so
Exactly.
intense. It's like I'm thinking about a baby. Have you ever seen a baby the first time they taste the food and it's just so, and you can just get inside of them and see how good that flavor is to them because it's new and it's everything you all feel is so intense. And 30 years from now, y'all gonna be talking about, you remember Brianna, where is she? I mean, in the case of Richardson versus Smith, pertaining to whether Mr. Brock or Mr. Smith is the father of 8-month-old Kalani Smith, it has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Smith. Now we have the result. We know the truth. Where do we go from here, family?
People to know I'm her father now, so, real
And listen, how will people know? Let's grow up in this moment right before we go.
Yes, ma'am.
How will they know? We're not talking about no Facebook
ma'am.
posts. We're talking about some
Definitely not.
face-to-face child rearing, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Right.
Definitely.
Loving a child is oftentimes about sacrificing yourself. Ms. Galloway, you say you became pregnant with your first child at 14 years old. And even with that young start, you maintain that all your children know and have been accepted by their fathers until now.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that Mr. Harris is the father of your 9-month-old twins, Shekinah and Malachi Galloway. Mr. Harris, you state that you're a family man who first became a father at the age of 12, going on 13. Although that child was yours, you're certain that Miss Galloway's twins are not.
Yes, Your Honor.
You all got started having babies way too young. How did you get together?
Well, Your Honor, actually, it wasn't a relationship, Your Honor. It was just one night stands and here and there pleasurable moments, to be honest, Your Honor. I mean, when I met her, it was in church, like usual, like the rest of her baby daddies. I mean, I'm keep it real.
First off, I was dating someone that he knew.
A musician.
Yeah, a musician that he knew. We ended up needing a ride home on a particular day, and the guy that I was dating called him up. And so he came and gave us a ride to my apartment complex. The guy that I knew, you walked down the street to, drop his kids off, and Mr. Harris here helped me to the door with my groceries. And he said, so when you gonna let me in the house? I said, what you talking about? He said, when you gonna let me come over? I said, the only time you're gonna come over is if we're having a Bible study. Okay, so, as time goes by, I do occasionally see him in the churches playing or whatever, so, I do start conversating with him. And then there was a situation where he was gonna be walking, he said he was walking from Shands Hospital in Jacksonville to not even knowing where he was gonna go, and this was Christmas Eve, and I said, okay, well, I don't have my kids this evening, and, it's cold outside, you're gonna be walking by yourself, you know what, I'll meet you. So we walked to a van where he knew that the doors were gonna be unlocked. So we
Your
go
friend
in the
van you talking about?
We go into
Not
the
my
van
Your
and
friend van?
we sleep in the van that night.
We didn't sleep in the van, we had sex in the van that
We
night.
slept in the van. We slept in the van that night, and he didn't touch me or
Over
anything that
45
night. So
minutes.
I felt comfortable, like everything was gonna be okay. So the next morning is when I'm waking up, I'm feeling him. I'm
Okay,
That's not the truth.
go past that part.
Okay, so we end up getting involved. We did get involved in that van the next morning because that night I felt comfortable with it. I felt like it was okay or whatever.
You met him in church,
Yes.
and the next thing you know, you having sex with him in an abandoned van?
Yes, ma'am.
You did not use protection.
No, I
No, we
didn't.
did
I
not
didn't
use
know, ma'am.
protection, and it was like maybe 3 minutes, and then he was like, okay, I
Wasn't
have
no
to
3
use the
minutes,
restroom.
45 minutes.
You mean
45 minutes?
You mean 4 to
And you
5
saying-
minutes?
you
'Cause
saying
it was
30
not no 4 to 5
okay.
minutes.
Well, it was long enough to potentially produce 2 beautiful babies. Did you sleep with more than one man, Miss
Not at the
Galloway,
same
during
time.
the period of conception?
No. I was only talking to him. That's why I said she's
wasn't
not here because she's
talking.
working.
No,
Sending
that's what
text
y'all
messages.
should have been doing, was just talking.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
You have no doubt
No
in your
doubt.
mind.
Not at all. Not at all. Because during this time, like I said,
Did you sleep with Mr. Samuels too?
No.
That's a lie.
That is not a lie. That is not a lie.
You and Mr. Samuel slept together.
Me and
you
you
told
never
me out
used
this. You told me out your own mouth. Just like the
He is
boyfriend
lying.
you had before you met me and had sex with me. You was
You
talking
are trying
that
to
was a
throw up
musician.
everything that you can-
It ain't no case. You only want child support.
Are you serious?
Your Honor.
Your Honor,
I
2
know my
weeks
proof and
after
my
he
facts,
had
Your
that,
Honor.
not even 2 weeks
These-
after he had
Your
the
Honor.
pictures on Facebook,
First
he took
of
the
all,
pictures
Your Honor,
down.
Yes, sir.
when it comes to claiming, I'm far from a deadbeat because I take care of anything I make.
In the case of Galloway versus Harris, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Samuels, you are not the father. Mr. Harris, you are the twins' father. Well, my research says that you're in fact the biological father. How many children do you have?
It's 9, Your Honor.
9 children. I'm so frustrated. I really am. This is not how you live life.
You're right.
Your destiny and your purpose is not to be baby making factories. What are you doing with your life?